Choosing where to eat this week should be as easy as choosing what to listen to. Download the Seated app, and you can explore restaurants across NYC and earn rewards for dining out at restaurants like Seymour's and Boqueria. Make restaurant reservations or order takeout with the Seated app, and you'll get up to 30% back in rewards you can spend on Amazon, Starbucks, Uber, and more. Download the Seated app today and get an extra $10 back on your first meal. Download the Seated app today and get an extra $10 back on your first meal.
New on Curiosity Stream. After man landed on the moon, what did all the rocket scientists do?
Hey, let's build a rocket that is simple in concept.
Pushing technology in ways that make today's rockets possible. It's Fly Rocket Fly. And one Mexican drug lord made himself a household name with cunning and savvy.
His business sense is worthy of a Harvard degree.
It's the origin of El Chapo and the CEO of Sinaloa. They're new this week on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are just $20. Visit curiositystream.com.
It's Howard Simon and Jeremy White.
Johnson into the end zone, intercepted. 2 yards deep in the end zone by Taron Johnson, and he brings it out. He may go all the way. The 30 gets a block at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Taron Johnson goes 102 yards.
Howard Simon.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to be a sports fan in my next life. I'm going to get into art.
Jeremy White.
I got something I'd like to discuss.
No. 888-552-550. But it was a good try on your part.
I'm sorry.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Okay, plowing along into hour number 4 on a victorious Bills football Monday. A franchise record 7-game win streak now in the rivalry against the Dolphins. And 8 straight wins against the division. Second longest streak in the history of the Buffalo Bills franchise. And that's what we're talking about this morning, all the good, the bad, the ugly, and whatever else other category there is. We'll get some calls. We do have phone lines open if you want to get in. It's a great time to share your opinion with us on the game yesterday. And from what Brayton told me in the break, sounds like there is some serious stuff going on in the background at the White household. The Twins apparently have a lot on their mind today.
So. 8:45 to 9:05 is Grand Central Station around here. Between babies and dogs, it's chaos. Absolute chaos.
Okay, so the babies and the dogs basically take over the house from the
Everyone
two adults
just
for 20 minutes.
It's time to make noise. Yeah.
That's good.
Absolute chaos.
I'm not gonna lie. I love hearing the babies talk during the show. I'm not gonna lie. I just think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a little bit of being like at a daycare, but whatever. It's really cool.
One quick thought I want to offer you on the big picture and the game and what it means is that in the span of 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, I guess the bye week is included. So in 3 weeks, it went from after the Bills beat the Chiefs. Maybe I was guilty of this. Maybe you out there were guilty of this. I thought, man, the Bills are going to cruise to the 1 seed. And now, 3 weeks later, they have a win, a loss, and a bye. But in that bye, Tennessee emerged. Mm-hmm. Baltimore still looks strong. Cincinnati emerged and then fell back. The Chargers kind of fell back twice, losing to the Ravens and then the Patriots. The AFC in 3 weeks became a little messier than it looked when the Bills had beaten the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the Bills are 4-1, and it's like, look at this. Who's even going to mount a challenge? And now it looks like the 1 seed is probably Baltimore, Tennessee, Buffalo. Is that it?
I don't know.
I don't want to say the Raiders.
I don't know. I don't think the Raiders are going to be in this when all is said and done. Not for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll win their division. So I don't think they'll be in the race for the 1 seed. I don't know what's going to happen in the West.
Tennessee's got a really good look at it.
Yeah. Well, first off, they clinched the division yesterday, basically. I mean, I didn't.
Right.
Mathematically, they didn't. I'm just screwing around. But the Colts are 3-5. The Jags are 1-6. The Texans are 1-7. Tennessee 6-2, and they swept the Colts. I mean, a 3-game lead and a tiebreaker edge almost the half. Whatever, you know what I'm saying. I'm going to say at the halfway point. That division's over. So Tennessee won't break a sweat in their division the rest of the way. And now, yes, you would think about the 1 seed if you're the Tennessee Titans. Freaking Carson Wentz. Yeah, I don't know what to make of Vegas. I wouldn't put him in there. I still think it's the Bill. If you gave me rankings to make, we'll see how Mike and Chris do with their reverse rankings this week. But I would put the Bills 1. I would put Baltimore 2. I would put Tennessee 3.
I would ask you why not Tennessee 1.
I just don't like Tennessee. I'm not going to lie. There's still a bias that I'm not sold on Mike
ahead of
Vrabel
the
as a
Bills.
coach. Yeah, I'm not sold on Vrabel as a coach, and I'm still not sold on their defense. Now, I will tell you this. A.J. Brown is really looking good. Tannehill's a good quarterback, right? We know they can win games when Derrick Henry doesn't run for 150 yards.
Well, I'll stop you there. Adam Schefter just tweeting out that Derrick Henry has possibly suffered a potential season-ending foot injury during yesterday's game. He's undergoing an MRI today to determine the full extent of the injury.
Wow.
Prediction. That has bigger implications for your fantasy team than it does the Titans.
Sure.
See, that's the thing.
Maybe we'll see. It'll be the ultimate test of, does this running back matter?
Right.
I mean, the Panthers lose Christian McCaffrey and they're fine. The Rams lose Cam Akers and they're fine. The Cowboys lose Zeke and they're fine. Everybody's generally just fine.
Well,
Tennessee will be the ultimate test of, are they okay anyway?
I mean, the Panthers went into a skid. Now, that might be more about Darnold's not a good quarterback and less about the presence of Christian McCaffrey. But last year McCaffrey goes out and Mike Davis comes in and he's fine. No, I think, honestly, it's funny. I do think that's a problem for Tennessee. I really do. Because, look, this guy gets him like 30. He goes 30 carries a game. So that is a big problem for their offense. Having said that, A.J. Brown was, again, phenomenal yesterday. They didn't even have Julio Jones. And the Colts still couldn't stop A.J. Brown. He had like 150 yards or something yesterday receiving. So he is looking very good now. Tannehill's a good quarterback. I just don't think Vrabel's a good coach. I don't like his in-game decision-making. I don't like his game management. And I still believe at some point, I can be wrong on this, but I still believe at some point their defensive shortcomings are going to get them when all is said and done.
Okay. And again, I just want to point it.
But they're going to win their division. They'll walk to their division.
Yeah. You see Henry's stat line yesterday?
Yeah, what did he get? 3 yards a carry or something?
He didn't get 3.
He didn't even get 3. He had like 28 carries, right?
That's right. He was under 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, they put up 34 points.
It very well could be kind of like how a defensive lineman takes up double teams so the ends get sacks, right? It very well could be that the reason the Titans do succeed in passing the ball is because teams spend so much energy to make sure Henry doesn't beat them that he doesn't. And it opens up other things.
Yeah.
But here's Derrick Henry, 2.4 yards per carry, 28 carries for 68 yards. The only case you can make for that being valuable is that it opens up the other things.
But it's funny. Do you have his game log up?
I do.
Go look at Kansas City. The game against Kansas City. He didn't do anything in that game either, right?
He didn't do anything right.
He had the big game against the Bills, and it was a you know what I'm saying, a non-factor the last 2 games, and yet they put up 27 and then kind of shut the game down a little bit. Again, they had 27 in the first half and then 34 yesterday. Look, I don't know if blessing in disguise is going too crazy with this, but what did you and I say when they traded for Julio Jones, right? We both looked at it. I know they lost Jonnu Smith, but we both looked at it and thought, well, maybe they'll let Tannehill throw the ball a little bit more because those are 2 really good receiving weapons. But the identity of their offense is still running through Derrick Henry. If he's out, who knows? Maybe when all is said and done, it turns out to be a blessing for them because they have a really good passing game. I don't know. I do think it's an issue because they do love to run the ball with this guy. Even in games where he doesn't run well, I do think it is an issue. You still have to worry about him while not forgetting about A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and whoever else they're trying out there.
It's the ultimate test of his value.
Yeah, that's good.
He has 937 yards on the season already.
Yeah, well, he was getting like MVP discussions going on especially after he ran over the Bills. They were talking about him as an MVP.
He's already got 219 attempts.
Right?
In 8 games.
In half a season. Yeah.
But, you look at their wins and their losses. He's had some nice games. But these 35 carries, are they going to give the next best running back?
No.
The guy that shows up behind him, does he get 30 carries?
In fact, they're not even going to divvy up 35 among the committee, right? They're just going to run less.
They're just going to throw
they? Shouldn't they throw the ball more? I mean, you can't run a heavy run-based offense without Derrick Henry and just split the carries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll go pull up their depth chart. Quite honestly, don't quiz me on all the backup running backs in Tennessee. But holy smokes, I think if you're the Titans, if he's out,
it's a huge loss.
You start throwing the ball more. You say, okay, all right, you guys got to stop A.J. Brown and Julio Jones and the rest of our weapons. Tannehill, this is on you. Go throw the ball.
That sound you hear is the fantasy football world.
Yeah, see, I don't have
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Gut punch.
Right.
if you have him anywhere.
That's a tough one, yeah.
Speaking of which, right before calls, very quickly.
Brady?
Congratulations to you, too, on advancing another week in the Guillotine
Way
League.
to go, B-Dubs.
You're on to another round.
Yeah, and didn't even have to sweat it out.
Nope.
Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty happy that we're on to, what is it going to be, week 9? I'm sorry, I lost track already. Yes, very happy with my team. Good day yesterday, Mr. Stafford. Thank you, Mr. Melvin Gordon. Good. Mr. Melvin Gordon, thank you. All right, got me a touchdown yesterday. Very good. I'm feeling confident. Let's get some calls. You wanted to bring up Brady too, so don't forget about that.
He's washed up.
He is shot. No, but let's face it. You must have been, I assume, watching the game.
I was.
When New Orleans gets kick a field goal. Brady's getting the ball back with 1:40 left, and we're going, hey, we've seen this. Hello, Bills fan, seen this before, and he throws a pick six. Like, oh, he didn't go down and win the game on a game-winning drive. What just happened here? He did it to the Bills all the time. I can't believe it. By the way, the Brady stat that I mentioned really quick. So Pittsburgh beat Cleveland yesterday, right? You know Roethlisberger's record against the Browns?
Oh, he's like 27-1 or 2.
Thereabouts. He's 24-3-1. They mentioned that on ESPN radio, right? So Roethlisberger's 24-3-1, which just happens to be the second best winning percentage by any active quarterback against one team.
Behind Brady.
Gee, I wonder who's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mentioned that Brady is 9-14 against the Bills, by the way. 9-14.
Your waiver pickup for the Titans, Jeremy McNichols or Dontrell Hilliard. There you go.
All right. Thanks for the heads up on that. I'm good with my running backs right now. I'm not in the market. 803-0550 to join us. Let's go to John in Buffalo. You're on Bills Football Monday on WGR.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Trade deadline coming up. I don't really think there's a whole lot that the Bills need. Maybe offensive line. But one position where I still think we could upgrade. Listen, I love the way Zach Moss has been running the ball. He's actually looked decent in the passing game, too. But running back, one running back that's out there who I don't know if they're going to trade him or what, but Saquon Barkley. I mean, this guy a couple of years ago, when he was a rookie, he caught over 90 passes and 50 a couple of years ago. He's unbelievable in the passing game. He's dynamic. I know he's coming off an ankle injury and another, season-ending injury a year ago, but he's still got it. I think he's still got a lot left to prove. And his contract's favorable. I mean, he'd be under contract for one more year and $7 million. I don't know what it would take to get him. But I know before the NFL draft, a ton of Bills fans and media were wanting Travis Etienne and maybe even Najee Harris and all this stuff about a running back, and now we're fine with it. But to me, I think we can still upgrade that position on offense. I want to see more guys on offense. And look what the Bucs did with Fournette. Fournette kind of had his coming out party in the Super Bowl a little bit, and he's done a lot for Brady, and he's looked like the Leonard Fournette that kind of came out of LSU. So, and I think that Barkley's way better than Fournette is, especially in the passing game. So, it's just an interesting name, and I'd love to see it happen and just give Josh and his offense another weapon.
Well, I think there's zero chance of Barkley. I mean, he's a second overall pick of the Giants. They're not going to give up on that.
Because he's going to be wearing a gold jacket someday. I don't know that Gettleman. I'm sorry, I'm just being a sarcastic.
And the point about you're not. I mean, I agree with you. Fournette, I loved the signing for the Bucs because I do think he was better than indicated in Jacksonville, where Doug Marrone ran him into a brick wall. And Etienne's different. Like, here's the main difference was the idea of taking a running back 30th is very different from taking one second, and that's on salary and the salary cap.
They got to make that salary fit next year, by the way, the $7 million. I mean, I know it's only 1 year left, but you got to make that fit. And what if the Giants are trading Barkley? My guess is it's not for a day 3 draft pick.
It's just not. I want to say there's no chance.
How would Gettleman do that when he basically took all the crap he took from everybody for drafting Barkley at that point,
right?
And now he's going to trade him. So.
The ETN thing was an idea at the time, and it still looks like, granted, he's hurt, so you don't ever get to know. And, the Bills, he was never on the board for them to pick. But what Travis Etienne offered is exactly what, I was on board with the Etienne pick at 30th because of a few things. One, he can stay on the field on all downs. He's good in pass protection. He does everything. He's explosive. Right now, what the Bills have in pass protection, or what they lean a little heavily on Moss more than Singletary when it comes to blitz pickups and just being their pass catcher. And he's explosive. So, some running backs are explosive, but you can't trust them in pass protection. See like C.J. Spiller back in his time. Maybe you didn't love him picking up blitzes, but you loved him receiving and putting him out wide. ETN, to me, was an idea that was worth exploring because he could have done everything that you wanted a running back to do. They never had to make the decision because he goes to Jacksonville and then he gets hurt. Breida was the guy we were told, this is their little spice to add to the run game, and he doesn't dress. So, it's maybe this coming off season we revisit the conversation, and because now you're entering another year down the road for Singletary and Moss, and I don't know, does either one of these guys look like guys that are going to get extended? I think it's
not
more
at this point, no.
And I think it's more likely for Moss than Singletary just because of the versatility that you get in the passing game a little bit more. So, I mean, I think the running back point is edges of the roster. We just talked about Henry and whether or not they will drop off at all. I mean, if I want a running back on this team, it's because I want one that's able to run past everybody.
Well, that's why I think Jeremy asked me last hour, do I think they'll make a trade tomorrow? I don't think they will, but if they do, honestly, running back would be fourth on my list. Offensive line help. Maybe you want to get although, Sweeney did okay yesterday, but maybe they'd want another tight end behind Knox or cornerback depth. I just would not get to running back. If anything, because again, we're not shifting the Bills' offense. If you're getting Barkley, I think he would have a pretty good diet of whatever. That's a bad example. They're not trading Barkley. But anyway, my point is I wouldn't give up anything for a running back at this point because if you're going to add anything to this offense, it should still be about the passing game. Now, if you got a guy who you think out of the backfield is going to – great. Honestly, give Breida some touches. I mean, give it a shot. What do you got to lose, Singletary's okay. Moss is okay. They don't live and die on their running game. Give Breida a shot. See if he can be some kind of addition with his speed in this offense, and he never dresses for games. So it's not a position that is in my head at all for the trade deadline tomorrow. It would still be trying to find something else to, help the passing game, quite honestly. Be as explosive as you can, have as many weapons as you can. And I know Barkley can catch the ball, by the way. Let's see where okay. Let me get one more call in. We got a little time here. Bob in Syracuse, you're on Bills Football Monday. Go right ahead.
Hey guys, watching the game yesterday, I was extremely frustrated, and I'm sure you guys were at the play of the offensive line. And I do realize they were shuffling some guys in and out. Eventually, at some point, we're going to have to be able to run block. And watching, especially the left side of the offensive line, get blown up on virtually every play. I know we don't have the best running backs, in the league, and I get that. These guys are serviceable. They're good running backs. This offensive line scares me, especially in the run game. I don't want to see Josh Allen have to, win games with his legs, when these games start to get really tough, when we start to play these fronts that are, 2-3 times better than what we faced yesterday. So it just concerns me, that's all.
I'd be more concerned about pass protection. I really don't. I do not lose any sleep about run blocking.
Well, that too. I mean, what do you think the answer is? I know that Spencer Brown was out. We were struggling at left guard yesterday, big time. What? It just seems like they're struggling to find the right combination in the run game and pass blocking. So I hope they figure it out. That's all.
Yeah, I think it'd be interior offensive line. I think first off, it sure looks like Darrell Williams is better at right guard than right tackle because and it looks like the line was better with Spencer Brown at right tackle. He was more than holding his own out there. But you had basically one guy missing, created 3 changes. Okay, Williams goes back to right tackle. Feliciano's on the left side. He goes back to the right side, and Bakker comes in. So there were 3 changes on the line yesterday, and I know those guys have played together before, especially the right side of the line should not be confused. They played together last season. But they looked really discombobulated as a group yesterday. I don't worry about the run blocking at all. Again, I didn't sit through the first 6 games going, their run blocking needs to be better. When they lost at Pittsburgh, it was because they couldn't stop the pass rush. Yesterday when they were getting skunked in the first half because they couldn't stop the pass rush. I honestly do not worry about run blocking. Their run game is okay. I think it's enough right now in this offense. I'd be more concerned about pass protection, and specifically, you might be concerned about the guard play as opposed to the 2 tackles in the starting center at this point.
Yeah, and then you get to a point where, you want it to be better. As of tomorrow afternoon, it's not going to get different personnel. You've got these are the guys you're going with, right?
Right.
So
unless you make a change internally and you put Cody Ford back in and say he's going to be better at guard,
right? But
it's
just a mix of who you've got, and then we get to the conversation of you can keep trying it. And this was a point to be made about their offensive line this offseason, which was they want to be better running the ball. Okay, they brought everybody back, so Spencer Brown is the difference when it comes to what's different about this group, right? Everybody else, returned. You brought back your starting offensive line and thought we're just going to get better at it. And, that might not be the best plan to just expect the same thing, the same grouping to have better results.
We have lines open if you want to join us. It is Bills Football Monday, Extra Point Show coming up at 10 with Sal Capaccio. He'll take your calls as well. 803-0550 to talk Bills Dolphins with us. It is Football Monday, which is brought to you by Northwest Bank. Increasing the value of you.
3rd and 26. The snap. Tagovailoa has a pocket. Guns it downfield. Intercepted. Picked up by Poyer at the 30-yard line. Up to the 20. To the 15 along the far sideline and wrestled out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Jordan Poyer makes the interception. Seals the deal for the Buffalo Bills.
It's all Bills all day. Buffalo Bills Football Monday, exclusively on WGR Sports Radio 550. Brought to you by Northwest Bank, increasing the value of you.
Want a night off from cooking and dishes? Here's your excuse to try a new restaurant tonight. Download the Seated app, and you can explore restaurants across NYC and earn rewards for dining out at restaurants like Seymour's and Bocaria. Make restaurant reservations or order takeout with the Seated app, and you'll get up to 30% back in rewards you can spend on Amazon, Starbucks, Uber, and more. Download the Seated app today and get an extra $10 back on your first meal. Download the Seated app today and get an extra $10 back on your first meal.
Have you cut the cord and are feeling bored with your streaming services? CuriosityStream can help. With thousands of documentary films and TV shows, let CuriosityStream put the science back in your screen time. Astound you with history come to life and wildlife that will reach out and grab you. We've got the fix for your nonfiction addiction. Watch us on any device, anywhere you are. Visit CuriosityStream.com to sign up and start streaming now.
2021 Odyssey Beach Festival, December 4th and 5th at the world-famous Fort Lauderdale Beach in Florida. 2 days of music with almost 24 bands, including 21 Pilots, Swedish House Mafia, the Lumineers, Weezer, taking my time on my ride, Bastille, Walk the Moon, Mod Sun, and more. Tickets on sale now at OdysseyBeachFestival.com. Supported by Ford. Built for you. Built for South Florida.
I'm Shayna. And I'm Tracy, and we're the hosts of Band of Mothers Podcasts. We're a little Wait, Don't Tell Me meets This American Life meets Thelma and Louise. I can't wait to drive off a cliff with you. You've been saying that since the 8th grade.
Each week we feature real stories from moms just like you. Plus, we've got live performances, in-studio interviews, games, original music, and more.
So join our Band of Mothers and subscribe now on the Odyssey app or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
This is the Band of Mothers Podcast.
White to the end zone. They got the lead. Touchdown, Tyler Kroft, a former Bengal.
How about it? A vintage Kevin Harlan call.
Yeah,
former Bengal.
He didn't say former Bill. He didn't throw in his college. I mean,
If they're playing the Bills, he probably would have.
Former Bill, Tyler Croft. Hey, that's good. That's my stat of the day, actually, before we get to the next call. Nice job, boys. You guys are on your game today. Stat of the day brought to you by, hang on, wait for it. Cows of Buffalo, indeed. You'd think I'd remember that by now. Get moving with Cows of Buffalo, container on wheels mobile storage. Rent account today. Call 592-3343. Tyler Croft with the touchdown catch yesterday. The Bengals lost to the Jets and Mike White. This is from NFL on CBS. They tweeted out yesterday, this season, teams were 0-59 when trailing by double digits with 5 minutes left. Until yesterday. They're now 1-59. The Jets were down 31-20 with 5 minutes left, scored a couple touchdowns, got the comfort behind wins. So the Jets have 2 wins over the Titans and Bengals this season. Sure, I saw that one coming. That's my stat of the day. Congratulations to the New York Jets and Mike White, who had a career day in his first career start. I want to say, I think I saw, he had 37 completions, Jeremy. He was 37 of 45, by the way. 37 completions. I believe that's a record for the most completions by any quarterback ever in their first career start. And he threw for like 405 yards or something like that and 3 touchdowns yesterday. So this
Matthew Stafford had 3 touchdowns yesterday, right?
Yes, 305 and 3.
Well, 305 and 3. 3 touchdowns means that Matthew Stafford has 22 touchdowns in his first 8 starts with the Rams, which ties an NFL record. He's tied with Patrick Mahomes.
Who? Patrick
Touchdown
Mahomes.
passes in first 8 starts with the team. Kurt Warner, 21. Stafford and Mahomes, each 22 in their first 8 starts.
Not too shabby. How about this one? You ready?
Josh Allen has better numbers than that against the Dolphins, by the way. Right? 25 touchdowns?
Well, he had 9, total, I forget. He had 19 passing touchdowns. And I don't remember how many rushing touchdowns he had. You're probably right. I think it was 22 total, and then he had 3 yesterday. So I think you're right on that one. Another stat before we get to the next call. John, hold on. We'll be right with you. The Bills sent out a handful of stats yesterday. Their little shout-outs press release after the game. So Josh Allen now has 112 touchdowns in his first 50 starts as a Bill. That is the 3rd most in NFL history. And he now has 28 rushing touchdowns. That ties Cam Newton for the most by a quarterback in his first 50 starts. There you go. We're filling you with all sorts of neat stuff that you can impress coworkers with. Is there a water cooler anymore in any offices? You can impress.
There's one in our office.
Well, but it doesn't have water. We haven't had water in years.
Okay.
They stopped the water service. So I don't mean water in the building. We just don't have like the jugs of water delivered. So I guess there's still, you can impress people around the water cooler, whether there's a jug of water there or it's just the cooler.
Right.
803-0550 to join us this morning. It is Bills Football Monday. We'll go to John in Toronto next year on WGR. Go ahead, John.
Hey, good morning, guys. I always want to run something by you guys, see what you think here, right, for the trade deadline. All right, helping the passing game, blocking. What about bringing a guy like Lee Smith back? He was a great blocking tight end. He'd be a plug-and-play guy because he knows the systems. The players love him. He's a great locker room guy. He'd be cheap.
I don't need to do it. If I'm going to bring in a tight end, quite honestly, again, I'd look for a guy that maybe would be a good second option, better than Tommy Sweeney, as an option behind Dawson Knox. I wouldn't be shore up your offensive line if you're worried about pass protection.
Okay.
That's just me.
Fair enough.
Yep.
No, that's fair enough. I just thought he was a great blocking tight end.
Oh, he was.
Right now we're hurting there.
I seriously doubt. I mean, you'd be giving up like a 7th-round pick, basically. I mean,
nothing. He was
right.
Yeah,
right.
Like nothing. Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand it. As I said, if I were to bring in a tight end, it would be more for the to help the offense. And if you're worried about protection after yesterday, figure out what to do if you need to help the offensive line, or if you believe that the guys you have in here, in whatever form you think are the 5 best guys, and I'm going to guess it's Feliciano going back to the left side, Williams going back to right guard, and Brown coming back to right tackle, whenever that is. Figure out if you have 5 good guys here. If not, then I think that would be the first thing I would look at in the market for the trade deadline tomorrow. What else grabbed you from yesterday around the NFL other than the Bengals losing to the Jets?
Joe Buck not being with Aikman.
You know, I
Joe
totally
Buck was
missed
not
that.
on that
Oh,
game.
yeah, the World Series. That's right. I was watching that game, and it never even registered. I heard Aikman because I keep hearing. I think when I hear Aikman, I think of you and tweeting about Vic Fangio. Who was calling the game with him yesterday?
I don't know.
Yeah, it never even registered to me.
Was not Buck though.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, I had the game on, but I wasn't paying close enough attention to even think, hey, it's not Jack Buck. It's not Joe Buck who's doing the game with him. All right.
One name to mention here, like Derrick Henry's a big star, running back, of course. Right now, the Jets, Michael Carter's putting up numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a big day yesterday.
Yeah.
They throw to him in the passing game. They use him a good chunk. And Ty Johnson's the other guy, and he had good numbers yesterday, too, for the most part. The Jets had their way. They did whatever they wanted to yesterday.
Which is really odd because we were just saying, I know I saw a good chunk of the Bengals game against Baltimore, and Burrow was the story. Their win in Burrow was certainly the story coming out of that. But I thought their defense played really well against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And then they go get torched by Mike White. Michael Carter had 172 total yards yesterday and a touchdown. I thought that was a really nice draft pick. I really did. I know, it didn't get a ton of ink. It was fourth round maybe, I think, Jeremy. There's somewhere in the middle rounds. It didn't. There were other draft picks that got a lot more publicity, of course, the quarterback being at the top of the list. But I know when they made that choice, I thought they haven't really had much to speak of, quite honestly, in their run game in recent years. They tried a number of different things, even Le'Veon Bell. And I just thought, because that's a name, this kid's name came up. In fact, we had the guy on from North Carolina to talk about the two-headed running back they had down there. And so I kept thinking a little bit about him when we were talking about the Bills drafting running backs. And when they made that pick, I thought that's a really nice boost to bring in someone like that to help out the young quarterback because you really haven't had much of a running game in recent years.
And from a fantasy standpoint, we've talked about this with Scott Pianowski in the past. Rookie running backs, you've got to be a little patient on them.
Mm-hmm.
And this was true last year of DeAndre Swift, who second half of the season became a big player for them. Cam Akers, last year, granted he's hurt this year, but last year Akers was very slow, looked like running back by committee. All of a sudden he kind of takes over, and maybe that's Michael Carter this year. All of a sudden, just halfway through the season, now he's ready.
Yeah. Hey, one other note, since you brought up running backs, this is a story to track. Today's not the day for that, but the Bills are playing Jacksonville Sunday. James Robinson, who's had a really good year for them, left the game yesterday in Seattle. He did not return. He had a bruised heel, according to Urban Meyer. There was really no medical update. I don't know if news will come out today, but that is an injury to track for the next opponent on the Bills' schedule, whether or not James Robinson is able to play for the Jaguars on Sunday. Extendo Sports. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just seeing Barry Pachesky tweeted out that on the Derrick Henry news, just a personal thing, Barry Pachesky, who's writes for The Defector, in a keeper league, he traded away Derrick Henry 3 minutes before Adam Schefter tweeted the news.
Wow.
So what do you do as a league? Do you honor it, or do you say, you can't make that?
I think you have to honor it, don't you?
Especially because it's keeper. Like the person traded for him.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be fine. Yeah, if it's keeper.
He'll be back. Well,
it's not going to be career
a year
ending,
older,
hopefully.
but
yeah, right.
That's a tough one. Imagine trading for Derrick Henry this morning.
Wow. Yeah, that would be. Oh my goodness, that poor guy. Yeah. Well, you probably won't get you might not get a return.
Maybe they get good news on the MRI. Maybe it's
hopefully
not the season. Maybe it's 8 weeks.
Yeah, and you'd still get some use out of him, right? Extended Sports coming up in a moment. Sal is here. He is getting ready for the Extra Point Show coming up at 10 o'clock. We always like to tell you to get in early. Phone lines fill up pretty quick for Sal, so get your spot reserved at 803-0550. Bills Football Monday continuing on WGR. It is, of course, brought to you by Northwest Bank, increasing the value of you.
Play action fake. Josh keeps it, runs to his right, going to keep it himself, going to try to get in the end zone, dives in, touchdown Buffalo. That'll end it. Josh Allen, a 7-yard touchdown run around the right side. No doubt about it.
It's all Bills all day. Buffalo Bills Football Monday, exclusively on WGR Sports Radio 550. Brought to you by Northwest Bank, increasing the value of you.
Want a night off from cooking and dishes? Here's your excuse to try a new restaurant tonight. Download the Seated app, and you can explore restaurants across NYC and earn rewards for dining out at restaurants like Seymour's and Bocaria. Make restaurant reservations or order takeout with the Seated app, and you'll get up to 30% back in rewards you can spend on Amazon, Starbucks, Uber, and more. Download the Seated app today and get an extra $10 back on your first meal. Download the Seated app today and get an extra $10 back on your first meal.
New on Curiosity Stream. After man landed on the moon, what did all the rocket scientists do?
Hey, let's build a rocket that is simple in concept.
Pushing technology in ways that make today's rockets possible. It's Fly Rocket Fly. And one Mexican drug lord made himself a household name with cunning and savvy.
His business sense is worthy of a Harvard degree.
It's the origin of El Chapo and the CEO of Sinaloa. They're new this week on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are just $20. Visit curiositystream.com.
2021 Odyssey Beach Festival, December 4th and 5th at the world-famous Fort Lauderdale Beach in Florida. 2 days of music with almost 24 bands, including 21 Pilots, Swedish House Mafia, the Lumineers, Weezer,
Taking my time on my ride.
Bastille, Walk the Moon, Mod Sun, and more. Tickets on sale now at OdysseyBeachFestival.com. Supported by Ford. Built for you. Built for South Florida.
Heat wave, heating and cooling.
Go the extra degree.
It's not just putting a big ugly unit any longer up in your wall. There's a lot of choices that customers can use to actually improve the look of the home.
Owner Robin Cloy discussing the advantages of installing a Trane Mitsubishi electric ductless heating and cooling system.
They're very quiet. There's ceiling options, there's wall-mounted options, there's floor-mounted options, there's colors and designs. These units are way more efficient than a typical furnace and air conditioning unit, a system that can do heating or cooling. A heat pump for the heating season will pull heat from the cold air outside and then transfer it to the inside, and it does the reverse in the cooling season.
Go the extra degree.
Heat wave, heating and cooling. Heat wave, heating and cooling.
Breaking sports news airs first here. Guaranteed. WGR Sports Radio 550. 2020 Sports.
Extendo Sports.
Let's see. Oh, I had a Brady stat. I think we actually did this one before, as stat of the day, but I just think it's super impressive, so we'll just do it anyway. It's entirely possible I forgot we already did it. Brady had, in the loss yesterday, by the way, threw for 4 touchdown passes. Brady in his 40s has now thrown for 150 touchdown passes.
Yeah, more than his 30s.
More than his 20s. More than his 30s, more than his 20s.
Guys, that says, and I think you could look this up. Haven't you heard this? He's had essentially 2 Hall of Fame careers. He's working on a third.
Yeah, this is right. Each decade,
whatever it is. Right, you're right. That's what it'd be.
He had 147 TD passes in his 20s. I'd have to add up the 30s.
If you took the first 10 years of his career, he's a Hall of Famer. If you take the next 10 years of his career only, he's a Hall of Famer. It's amazing.
He's on pace for a career high in passing yards, and that is not taking into account the 17th game. He's on pace right now with 8 games in to throw for 5,300 yards in 16 games.
The news on Derrick Henry is they're fearful it's a Jones fracture.
Oh, man. Jeez. Look, we're going to talk about this in the Extra Point Show because I got to ask, it's such a tough hindsight. We know that, but how many times have we talked about, guys, the workload he gets? He was on pace to shatter the all-time attempts record. And look, this can happen on 1 carry.
Right. Yep.
But he was going to carry the ball 460 times this year.
Right.
And if you're a Titans fan, aren't you talking about that today?
Their backup, Jeremy McNichols, gets 1 carry a game.
Oh, my goodness. He's really more of a receiver out of the backfield.
7 attempts.
Yep.
Their carries, Henry 219, Tannehill 23, McNichols 7.
So who's their best running back option, and how quickly do they change their offensive philosophy?
Their best running back option is on another roster today.
That's the thing.
The trade deadline tomorrow. That's right.
Marlon Mack or Ronald Jones.
Marlon Mack wants out in Indy.
Ty Johnson or
no way you're trading to a division.
No.
Well,
I mean,
it depends.
Marlon Mack, would you be worried about him submarining? I mean, they already lost both games to him anyway.
Yeah, if you're the Colts,
they're not going to win that division.
you say, do we trade our third best running back for a pick? It depends what they would pay for him, but there are some names out there. Rashad Penny, is that another name that could somebody? You would think they'll make some sort of move.
Let me ask you this. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. Moss would fit more of that, but I'm just asking, like, if they make the call, right? I mean, they could make that call.
Yeah, they could. I don't think
I wouldn't think the Bills would do it.
By the way, an update.
And not because you'd be giving a running back to a team that you might have to beat out for the 1 seed. I just don't think the Bills would move one of those guys.
Last minute of play in the show.
Ian Rappaport says that it's an 8-week recovery for a Jones fracture.
Okay.
Right.
So that could mean he's back for January and for the playoffs, if they make the playoffs. They're going to make it.
Yeah.
They're 6-2. They have a soft schedule. They'll win games without Derrick Henry. I mean, they're not going to fall to 9-7.
The division's not very good, obviously.
Right. And they've already got the 2 games against the best team out of the way in the Colts.
Yeah.
They have not played the Texans or the Jaguars yet, have they?
That is a good question. They played Jacksonville,
Okay.
I think they beat Jacksonville.
They do.
Yeah.
Their next game is the Rams,
Yeah.
and then the Saints. So they're
All right.
two.
Couple
I guess
tough
I have to
ones.
revisit the Saints stink opinion. Maybe they're not that bad. Their defense is good, and I mean Trevor Siemian sure had the answers offensively
Yeah.
for them against the Bucs.
Yeah, he led some big drives.
One of the stories of the season, the Bucs defensively.
Yeah, not so
Whatever
good.
they had, the magic potion they had in the Super Bowl, they do not have it this year.
Yeah, I
And
hadn't paid
injuries
attention
in the
to that.
secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because they brought everybody back, right? They re-signed whatever key free agents they had.
Who's the
brought everybody
quarterback
back.
for the Saints when the Bills play them on Thanksgiving?
Taysom
Trevor
Hill?
Siemian. Nah, I'm not. I mean, I'm full-time. I'm not a big Taysom Hill
I agree
full-time
with
quarterback guy.
But they like him a lot more than you or I do.
Yeah. All right. You got? You ready to go?
I'm ready to go, yeah.
All right, Sal's here, ready to go. Extra Point Show. Dial them up right now. We got open phone lines all over the place. 803-0550. That is coming up in a moment. Have a great day.
Want a night off from cooking and dishes? Here's your excuse to try a new restaurant tonight. Download the Seated app, and you can explore restaurants across NYC and earn rewards for dining out at restaurants like Seymour's and Bocaria. Make restaurant reservations or order takeout with the Seated app, and you'll get up to 30% back in rewards you can spend on Amazon, Starbucks, Uber, and more. Download the Seated app today and get an extra $10 back on your first meal. Download the Seated app today and get an extra $10 back on your first meal.
Have you cut the cord and are feeling bored with your streaming services? CuriosityStream can help. With thousands of documentary films and TV shows, let CuriosityStream put the science back in your screen time, astound you with history come to life, and wildlife that will reach out and grab you. We've got the fix for your nonfiction addiction. Watch us on any device, anywhere you are. Visit CuriosityStream.com to sign up and start streaming now.
2021 Odyssey Beach Festival, December 4th and 5th at the world-famous Fort Lauderdale Beach in Florida. 2 days of music with almost 24 bands, including 21 Pilots, Swedish House Mafia, the Lumineers, Weezer,
Taking my time on my ride.
Bastille, Walk the Moon, Mod Sun, and more. Tickets on sale now at OdysseyBeachFestival.com. Supported by Ford. Built for you. Built for South Florida.